If you've ever made kombucha at home or have a weird roommate who has, I have that weird roommate, you're probably familiar with this weird phlegmy disc of mucilaginous beige material. It's sometimes called a mother, sometimes called a SCOBY, and that is the thing that makes kombucha into kombucha. And if you make kombucha regularly, you just have a lot of it. It just keeps on growing and growing. It'll fill your whole jar up. You can give it to friends so that they can make kombucha. You can throw it in the garbage. Up until now, I didn't think that there was anything that you could do with it until I read the big book of kombucha. That indeed is the comprehensive guide to all things kombucha, and includes recipes for different things that you can do with your kombucha SCOBY, and we're gonna try one of those today, which is SCOBY fruit leather. And it's basically just like a fruit roll-up. The first thing we're gonna do is we're going to actually take some of this SCOBY out of here. We're just gonna cut it into kind of like little bite-sized pieces so it's easier for the blender. SCOBY has like no nutritional value, it's just cellulose. There's a lot of like probiotic stuff in there also, but it's kind of like a totally like neutral food. They're just kind of like, there's a gum. That kind of tastes like kombucha. It's actually pretty good. It's really hard to chew, but I'm just gonna do it. There we go. So we're looking for about 2 cups for this recipe, and I'm just gonna pour enough of the actual kombucha to just kind of cover it. That'll help to get like a smooth puree. But before we actually get to the blending, we're gonna cook our fruit. We've got about 2 cups of frozen strawberries. We're gonna put it in a small saucepan over like medium-low heat. We've got a 1/4 cup of sugar, pinch of salt, because everything's better with a little bit of salt. Just stir that around. If you want it to get kind of saucy and juicy, we're gonna take it off the heat and just let it cool so it's not scalding hot when we mix it with the SCOBY later. And now we're gonna puree the SCOBY. So we've got our SCOBY covered in kombucha. The sound is so horrible. And if it starts to like seize up like that, you want to stir it, and actually I'm going to add just a little bit more of the kombucha. Yeah, see, that's starting to look better. Add a little bit more juice. Yeah, there you go. All right, that's enough of that. You can see it's just like a pulpy mess. It feels like gack or slime or some like thing that you give kids to play with. Oh, it still tastes like kombucha. So now that our SCOBY is pureed, we're gonna add our cooked fruit and puree them together to create one consistent mush. And if it wasn't fully smooth, now it's gonna really loosen up and form something that's a little more consistent. Et voila. And now we're ready to spread this onto our dehydrator sheets and actually make the fruit leather. So now we've taken the racks out of the dehydrator and we put these silicone mats or silpats on top of them. I'm gonna try to kind of just pour this evenly between these 2 sheets. Very appetizing. Yum delish. I feel like a painter, an artist. You wanna kind of try to spread this in like a 1/8 to 1/4 inch even layer. If it's too thin, you'll end up with something that's kind of brittle and tough. For this one, we're gonna add a little bit of sumac, and that kind of plays up the kind of tart tanginess of both the kombucha and the strawberries. And we're gonna put a little black pepper. So now that we've got this mixture all spread out and topped, we're ready to pop it in the dehydrator. So you're gonna leave it in the dehydrator on its lowest setting for like 12 to 18 hours. I normally just leave it in overnight and then check on it in the morning. You wanna feel like you can actually peel it off really easily, like it is like a piece of fruit leather or a fruit roll-up or something like that. This is a batch that we made a couple of days ago. This is what you want. You want it to kind of be almost translucent, kind of tacky, but not quite sticky. You can cut it into strips and go to town. It really is like a fruit roll-up, which is really crazy. SCOBY snacks.